Well, I'm seeking another term on the city council because I want to continue serving the citizens of Decatur to help make the community a better place to live and work. And I've enjoyed my service, and I'd like to continue.
Thank you.
I would say similar answer. At the end of my last term, I did announce that I was not going to run again, but we were not in a recession at that time, and things were looking a little bit better for the city. And frankly, when we got to this point, it was one of these things that I felt that my leadership and financial guidance could be helpful for the city, and that's the reason that I decided to run for another term. But we're totally committed to this community and want to see it grow and prosper.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm a young attorney here in town, and very passionate about seeing my community grow. I'm a Decatur native, and then went on to Millikan. Thought I wanted to be a high school history teacher and coach, and discovered that I loved history. Didn't necessarily love teaching history, but the reason I bring that up is I had a lot of experiences with people who grew up here and well, pay good money to come to the area, and young people, unfortunately, are just not finding Decatur a very friendly community in the sense of a place that they want to see themselves settle and grow, and that's the reason I'm running.
Hi, I'm running because, as you know, I was appointed to City Council serving on the last 2 years. And during that time period, I have really enjoyed being on City Council. One of the things that I have enjoyed the most is the fact that we make decisions and you actually see those decisions take place. You don't have to sit around and wait years to see some things come to pass. They actually come to pass fairly quickly. I realize some of the things have taken a little while as far as some of the things that currently are on City Council, but it has been a very positive experience with talking to different people in the community. There is a little disheartened feeling as far as Decatur. And I want to be one of the candidates that really get people active again in the community. I'm been serving in the community in other capacities, and I'm looking at this term on City Council as a way to where I can hopefully get other people active as well. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing our community prosper, to see real good changes take place, and hopefully see the community in a positive light in another 10, 15 years.
Okay, thanks. Sir?
I'm seeking a position in City Council because I believe that the city of Decatur needs change. We need jobs, we need more businesses, more industry brought to Decatur, and I believe that I have the capacity to do that.
Jackson?
I've watched the City Council for a number of years now, and when possible I participated as a member of the community. I think the time has come now to step up and take that next step and move on to the City Council as a member, not only to represent the community for now, but also to represent the community for the future. I believe I see things a little differently than the current council members, and while I believe they've done a good job, I believe they also could use some help, and they could use a little refreshment, and I think I can bring that refreshment to the council. With the greatest respect to everyone on the council now, I like everyone personally, and I think they've done an admirable job. I think it's just time to grow a little bit, and I'd like to help do that.
Okay, thank you. Next question, we'll start with Mr. Legler. Is one of the issues that's going to be facing the council has been facing the council and will face the council for the next few years are limited revenue resources and growing expenses. So tell us a little bit about how you would approach that situation with revenues not growing and expenses, especially pension expenses and things like that, constantly increasing.
Well, I think that we've done a good job so far in trimming the budget. We've taken quite a bit of money out of the general fund. We've sacrificed some things, in particular the capital fund and some of the street work. But I think that we need to stay focused on reducing expenses as best we can. That may include looking at fewer people through attrition. And I think that that's something we just have to keep our fingers on. One of the initiatives of the city manager in the coming budget year is to focus on bringing additional retail to the community. I think that that's a right-on spot, that we need to encourage retail into this community, because sales tax is really a bigger driver than property taxes and things like that. So the more that we can make Decatur a destination for entertainment, shopping, and retail, I think that that will help us as we go through the recovery of the recession. The other thing, I think that the redevelopment of downtown is another area that will foster more interaction with customers and people coming to visit and spending their money here in Decatur. We can't lose focus on controlling our expenses, though, and I think that that's where the key is. And as we do come out of this, I want to make sure that we don't start hiring or getting into programs that we cannot afford. I think we need to maintain our focus on the pensions. We need to make sure that we are watching every nickel, and we need to make sure that as things improve, that we're putting that money to work to further grow the community rather than put programs in place that we really can't afford.
Thanks.
Thank you. There's no doubt about it. We are a declining population, meaning we'll have fewer resources to do just as much with. We've got an infrastructure set for 100,000 people, but not necessarily 100,000 people using that infrastructure. It completely agree that we need to make sure that we are living within our means and focus on our priorities. In my estimation, that doesn't leave anybody's area off the, for lack of a better phrase, chopping block, so to speak. But I think the current council is doing some smart things as to not trying to lay anybody off, looking for opportunities such as early retirement or something of that nature, attrition opportunities, and taking advantage of those. I completely agree with Mr. Legler on that point. What I'm also, though, concerned about is those attrition opportunities might just also be, and I'd have to look at this, I don't claim to be an expert on this budget, but it might also be at the very bottom level, and we might have a very top-heavy government. I'd like to look at that a little bit more, make sure that we're a fairly balanced city. It's fantastic if you're saving some money, but if everybody's making quite a bit of money at the top and nobody's working on the streets, then we're neglecting something. So it's my take that nothing's necessarily off the chopping block, and I would like to review it more in depth before making any promises or suggesting any cuts at this point in time.
With the issue of limited revenue with increased expenses, I think the thing that we can do is to continue being fiscally responsible. I'm very pleased with the fact that we're not going to see any people get laid off this next year. I would like for us to continue to do what is necessary so that we can actually have a surplus and not be in the negative. Too many surrounding communities are in that situation, and I don't want to see Decatur in that predicament. one of the things that I think is going to help, or I believe is going to help with us turning a corner, as Pat Legler said, is bringing in more revenue. With revitalization of the downtown, with the lakefront project, I believe we're going to see more income coming into Decatur. A lot of the people that I've talked to as I have been on the streets are really excited about the revitalization of the downtown. A lot of them have talked about, you know, when they were younger, how there used to be Woolworths downtown and all the different stores that were present, and how they would go and they would spend their day downtown. And I would like to be able to see that happen once again. And if we do that, we're going to draw in some of the people that we've lost to the surrounding communities, hopefully come back and move to Decatur, because we've made this place more friendly as far as the crime issue being resolved, as far as there being more places for them to spend their money and being happy with that. And if we're able to get the lakefront development up and going, then they have a place that they can come and for recreation. One of our models is to, you know, come to Decatur, live, play, and work, and we want to be able to see all three of those factors take place and actually be utilized.
Okay, thank you.
There's been a great deal of talk about the revitalization project, and my people have, most of them seem very excited about it. However, there seems to be a great concern over the cost. Now, I haven't seen the budget, but that seems to be everybody's major concern. We just raised our taxes, and now we're spending all this money on the revitalization project. People are very concerned about that. Again, let me say, I've never seen the budget, so I don't know how it works out, but it's a concern of mine. I think it needs to be thoroughly investigated further than what it has been. As far as businesses is concerned in the downtown area, I believe that we can do more good by getting rid of our parking meters. People are going to the shopping malls because if I go into a store to buy a $700 suit, I want to be able to take the time to shop and enjoy myself. This shopping is supposed to be an enjoyable experience, and it can't be when you're watching the ticker outside or a block down the street.
Okay, thanks.
Now, as far as rising expenses go, it's true that not only is the population indicator aging, but so is the workforce, and the city workforce is no exception. So, to a degree, attrition will take care of us. Will take care of the of some of the costs. Also, through conversations with some of the city employees, I've been led to believe that there are things going on in Springfield which may help us on that front as well. So I think we should remain patient for that side of the equation. It's true, but still, we should. We're going to have to watch every penny and pay very close attention to the expense side of the budget. It's also true that 45% of the general fund comes through sales taxes. That's absolutely correct. My figures are based on 2009 numbers. 45% of the general fund comes from sales taxes, which means business and retail is vital to Decatur. Not only is bringing in retail business vital to Decatur in the short run, but it's also vital that that business that we bring in generate sales tax that remains in Decatur. Now, another criticism of the current city council is I believe sometimes we're not reading the contracts as closely as would be beneficial to all of the citizens of Decatur. Sometimes I believe in a in an effort to bring in a new development, we're, for lack of a better word, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I hate to bring a new business into town that doesn't really generate any income. I think it's not good enough just to have retail. We have to have retail that adds to this community. Because really, retail jobs are not long-term jobs. They're not long-term quality jobs. They're a short fix. They're a short income boost. We need a balance. We need to make sure we get the value, the greatest value out of everything we do. These are tough times. And in tough times, we have to watch our pennies, but we also have to watch for opportunities. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Larry?
Well, I think economic development, job creation are probably two of the really important things, and I am not trying to reiterate what's been said, but I do feel that it appears that Decatur may be seeing the end of the economic downturn, and our sales taxes are starting to look better, and that's very important with the improvement of that. It will help also the businesses that we've been working with. Actually, I think we've done a number of things with the Pines Shopping Center area, the Walgreens out at South Shores, I think at Slumberland. We did a number of things to help, and I think the downtown area is going to be helped a lot by the several hundred additional people with ADM, taking the truck traffic out and so forth. But I think, really, I think we need to continue to be tight-fisted. I think our city needs to have a frugal budget practice that we've had in place, and as Pat stated, I do not support property tax increases. I think our citizens at this point are taxed up pretty heavy. At some point in the future it might have to be done, but certainly now is not the time. In the last 2 years we've not done that, and I believe we've made the right decisions in that, I believe. Our state needs pension reform, as many of the states do, and this is almost across the board type of thing, and I know a number of your editorials have indicated the concern that we have for the need certainly for pension reform. This year, that $1,600,000 additional money going into the police and fire pensions, we just don't have that kind of money, so we've had to tell the city manager, okay, you're going to have to make some changes. You got to make some cuts and do whatever you need to do in order to fund this. Having over $8 million going in there, we don't begrudge the fellas, women and men that are serving as police and firemen, but all across the country, we're facing these same kind of problems. And what the state is doing, I think, is going to take a while for it to really help us, but we have to do what we're mandated to do. But that said, we need to continue to be tight-fisted, I think, and run a tight ship. Look at the opportunities that we can find to bring new businesses in town, but as much as anything, I think the city government needs to provide an atmosphere for growth, and bringing economic development and new jobs, as many as we can get, is the best thing we can do. We've been losing 1,000 or so a year in population for the last 20 years. And we need to stem that tide and get it leveled out, and maybe certainly going the other way. And the only way I see to do that's to bring in economic development. And I think what we're doing in improving the downtown and streetscape, and what we're doing down at the lakefront, and what we have planned to do there with the Park District, I think is critical. So that's what I've got to say.